What's up, everybody? Dennis Racing 35 here. I'm at my my favorite rail fanning location. It's also my favorite location to work on cars. I have behind me my 2001 Subaru Forester, and the clutch slave cylinder is starting to get a little. So I apologize for the quality of this video. I'm shooting it in combination with my iPhone and my GoPro. So there's going to be audio differences, there's going to be other things like that, so I apologize if that bothers you. But this is going to be as good as I can, at least, how to install a new clutch slave cylinder for a 2001 Subaru Forester 5-speed manual. It should be the same for just about any Subaru, because they haven't really changed much in the way of, like, I'm trying to think if they have any kind of different clutch system, because this one's hydraulic. I know there are some that are cable that are earlier, like mid-90s, mid to early 90s, and then before that, before hydraulic clutches really started. But this one, I'm going to have to bleed it. I'm going to do the best that I can with me, because I don't have any friends with me. Cameraman Paul was supposed to be here, but he, I don't know, he won't answer texts, so maybe he's sleeping. But I forgive you, Cameraman Paul. But anyways, let's go under the hood and we'll see what we're doing here. So here we are under the hood of my car. I have my bag of tools in the way, and then there's my GoPro. What we're after is that guy right there, the rusty thing right there. That is the clutch slave cylinder. That right there is the clutch master cylinder, so whenever you push the clutch pedal down, oh, we're low on fluid. It forces fluid down through that hydraulic line, and then that hydraulic line comes up the other side of the transmission, in through that hose right there, pushes on a little thing inside there, and then pushes the clutch fork, which is right, that's the clutch fork right there. So it's got a little rod that pushes out of that cylinder right there and pushes the clutch fork, and in turn moves the clutch off the pressure plate and flywheel. So in order to get at that, we need to remove the airbox. That is 2 screws. They're 10mm here and here. I have my cold air intake there, so I'm gonna have to loosen that, and then you gotta loosen this right here. So I'm gonna switch to the GoPro and hopefully be able to catch most of that on film. Alright, so if this is not the best angle, I apologize once again. I have my 10mm wrench here. We're just gonna pull one of these guys out. I would advise using a socket for this, but my 10mm socket has gone missing, so I have to use my gear wrench. I really do like this guy, though. It's one of the best 10mm wrenches that I've come across. If I refer to it as a spanner, also, please don't get confused. I watch too much European television. So it's a gear wrench flex. It's got a little ratcheting guy over here. It's a 12-point, and then it's got the regular crescent over here. So I'm gonna go around to this side, and once again, this guy, this one's a little broken because the bushing is supposed to sit in the airbox itself, but it is worn away. So then I'm going to put my wrench down, grab my trusty flathead screwdriver, and then undo the hose clamps, and then I'm just gonna undo this one that I have going directly to the airbox, so I can pull this guy off, set it aside, and then you're going to have 3 rubber hoses that go to the airbox itself. Two are one on either side, so one here if you can see that, and then one over here on the bottom. And then there's another one right here in the front that goes to the PCV valve. So there's the airbox. Put that down here. Alright, so let's reposition and angle you down there. I believe it's a 14. It is. So I have, nope, I'm gonna need my 14 socket. I'm unprepared. Come on, there we go. Of course, my ratchet is being a douche-tard. So we're gonna come over here. I would recommend using 6 points, 6-point sockets, and just break them loose. So those are loose, and then I probably should be able to spin it out. No problem. Yep. One other thing that you may want to invest in before you do this is brake parts cleaner in the spray can, because that will be your best friend when you bleed the slave cylinder here. So now, you know what, I probably should have left those in a couple threads. When you put these guys in, make sure not to cross thread them, because that's going to be a bad day if you do. This to me looks like a 12, so I don't believe I have a, you know what, I might end back, so I'm going to pause this. Alright, so I was wrong. It's actually a 14, which is a little weird, but hey, who are we to judge? Alright, so I broke that loose. Brake fluid will start leaking. Do not be alarmed. It will be okay. So, we're going to take these guys out. And this is just a banjo bolt, that's what it's called. I do not have the necessary material to pinch these guys off, so I'm just going to put it up here. You don't really want to get it down in the engine or the clutch or anything. So I'm going to take the banjo bolt out. Make sure you don't get any foreign material on it, because that will be a bad day. I'm just going to route it up through here, and then it won't leak. So we can take this guy off completely, take it off level so that the brake fluid that's inside it does not leak. So I have that off, and then I'm going to cover the next part. So I gotta pause because it's going to be on my phone. So a good thing to do is to look at the old part versus the new part. Let me see if I can get this bitch to focus. So you look at the old part versus the new part. Old part, obviously the rusty, nasty looking one that's wet with brake fluid. This guy, it's painted. It's Bright Perfection clutch. It looks to be the same, except it doesn't have the pin. You can either reuse it or use the one that's supplied. I hear a train coming, so I'm going to stop recording because it's going to get loud. Alright, so once we are sure that our slave cylinder will fit and where it will work, we're going to take the pin. I recommend using the new one, and we're going to slide it in so that the little part that it keys into will fit. This will wiggle around a bit. It's by design. So we're going to take this, and you'll notice it comes with a rubber boot on it. Leave it in so that nothing gets in there. All right. I'm going to line you back up. All right, so what you want to do is you want to place it back where it was, and you want the little push rod to line up with the clutch fork that sticks out of the transmission. Then you're going to push it in just a little bit and rethread your bolts. It's very important that you don't cross thread these because they go into the case of the transmission, and if you cross thread that, then you're not going to have a good day. So it is threaded nicely. I'm going to take my 14 mil wrench, switch it to Tighten, sorry, you're just looking at my arm fat. Alright, so this is being a little bit idiotic. Finger tighten the bolts as much as you can without tools, and then go for it. Don't torque them down very tight when you do get them down, and then do them evenly. Don't you know, crank one down and then the other. It's best to do these as a set. And then just tighten them, you know, a good amount, but don't like He-Man them down, you know. Alright, so now it's time for the rubber boot to come off. And then you're going to take your fitting, and then you're going to look to see which way it goes on. And you can't really flip it over, so I know it goes on this way. You place it there. You get your banjo bolt, being careful not to get any crap stuck on it. Tighten down the banjo bolt with your fingers. More brake fluid will leak out. Grab your socket wrench and just give it a little turn. Don't He-Man it. If you break a banjo bolt, that's gonna suck. So basically that's how to install it. You're going to grab some brake cleaner. Like I wasn't prepared. I just use this stuff. And just, you know, here, I'm gonna take this cap off for the bleeder. And just go at it with the brake cleaner. Use a liberal amount, even though we're just going to need to hit it again because we're going to bleed the clutch. But try and put this in a safe place so you don't get a lot of crap in it. And then I will walk you through bleeding the clutch. Alright, so bleeding the clutch is a lot easier than bleeding the brakes, at least in my opinion. So the bleeder screw right here is an 8 mil. So you're going to want to crack the bleeder screw. And then you generally just wait until you start to see fluid come out. That's called gravity bleeding. I'm going to grab my brake fluid while it's doing that. So I have my brake fluid. I don't see anything coming out yet. but that could just be because there's not a lot of brake fluid in the reservoir. So I'm going to top off the reservoir right now. That's good. Basically what this is wherever gold synthetic brake fluid. You always bleed the clutch with the cover off, and there is our drippies. So we are going to tighten it up. We're going to give the clutch a push, see how it feels. And it goes right to the floor and stays there. So I'm going to pull the clutch back up. You're going to open the bleeder screw, not a whole bunch, but you're going to open it. You're going to push the clutch down. It's going to spray you with brake fluid. You're going to close the bleeder screw back up. And this is why we have the brake cleaner. Go back to the car, pull the clutch back up with your hand. That's going to draw more fluid through and fill this guy up. Basically what you're doing is you're trying to get the air out, just like bleeding brakes. Let me, yeah, here, got some on there. So, we're going to do it again. We're going to open the bleeder screw. Push the clutch down. Get sprayed by brake fluid. Close the bleeder screw back up. Lift the clutch. And basically you just repeat that until you have a nice firm clutch pedal. So I'm going to stop and clean off my camera now. Alright, so I am driving my car. It was a success. The clutch slave cylinder repair. The clutch does feel a little bit different, but that's expected because, you know, you get the clutch pedal feel through a combination of the pressure plate and the slave cylinder. So it does feel slightly different. It seems to grab a little bit higher. The pins were the exact same length, so I don't see why that is, but it's something that I'll get used to after, you know, driving it for a few minutes or, you know, a little bit. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Rate and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.